Neptune has finally fucking gone direct, and motherfucker, the glasses have been ripped the fuck off. I can't believe it's been since the fucking 4th of July. No, my head's been in the motherfucking clouds. I didn't even realize. I thought that I had it together, but no. Neptune ripped off my rose-colored fucking goggles. Oh, like a motherfucker. I'm finally seeing reality and people for what they are and not being delusional. It's so crazy, and it obviously comes from childhood, but like, I'll be in a situation with a person, or like, I remember in the past, like, work scenarios where like, I genuinely thought that like I loved every day, but then like, it'll just hit me one day. I'm like, this is too much. Like, it happens when it's too much to the point where I can't deny it anymore, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, this was bad the whole time. But my brain, like, it's like a protective mechanism. Because growing up, when your reality's so bad, you have to find a way to make it good, which is also why I've always been so happy. And my whole life, people are like, how are you so happy all the time? No, like, it's a coping thing. It's unconscious. Which is really fucking crazy. But anyways, point I'm trying to make is, thank God Neptune has gone fucking direct. I don't know if I can handle another Neptune retrograde. I swear, I hated that. I hate being unaware of my fucking reality. It's fucking ew. No, God no. But recently, I have been just so obsessed with this idea of just perceiving different like levels of consciousness. I know I cannot stop fucking talking about it, but it's been on my mind so much since my new shift, and I remember what it was like to perceive reality from different levels. So I forget a lot of the time the way I used to think versus how I think now. And I think it's just been low-key fucking me up, because I think the biggest fucking thing I've noticed since, you know, being at 60 or like vibing from the sixth dimension is basically like, everything is no longer about me. And I know I've said that, but I mean, like, when I have interactions, I'll give you an example. I used to think like, oh my God, this person did this and this means something about me, right? Like, everyone's actions I would take personally. I'd be like, damn, what the fuck did I do to them? You know what I mean? Like, it was this constant, everything's reflected back to me always. Every situation was like, oh, okay, I wonder what I should do to change this, right? So if it was like someone was upset with me, I was in a conflict, I don't know, like, literally think about fucking anything. I was like, oh, I need to, like, what this person's saying has to be true, or they wouldn't say it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just took everything so personal. But now it's like, nothing's personal. I don't know. Nothing's ever personal. I feel like recently I've just been kind of going through this like phase of trust. I hate to say the word faith, but like, I don't know if it's right or wrong. I don't know if my head's still in the clouds a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like it is. And not that I've been pulling myself out of reality, but kind of. I've just been so overwhelmed. Like, to be so honest, like, I feel like I haven't been able to focus on my future because I'm so overwhelmed in the present. So I'm trying to clear out these mental blockages so I can make more room for the future, which has been fucking challenging as fuck. But you know what? I feel like I trust in myself, and I trust in like my future self, kind of, because, you know, I made a video similar to this like about 5 months ago. And I was like, I just hope one day I get my motivation back. That'd be super cool. And like a month later, I literally got it back. So, and it's not that I'm unmotivated right now. If anything, I'm overmotivated. So I'm just hoping I can get my fucking shit together. I've always said, like, you know, I don't believe in luck. Like, I've always, you know, but I think luck is actually applicable for many fucking people. And I think people who say like fate is real, it is for them. Because I realized, like, people, for example, who grew up and they happen to have the set of right circumstances, right? Parents, maybe not even parents, maybe just the way, however that they were raised. I'm not saying it's good or bad, okay? I don't think there's a good or bad, but whatever set of beliefs that they grasped from their reality growing up set them on a certain trajectory, like a certain path, and they're reacting, and they're following the code inside their mind that they were always given. And sometimes that turns out to be great, sometimes not, but life will always feel like it's happening to them, because they truly are operating from their, you know, thoughts, truly thinking, you know, your thoughts are the way to go, your beliefs are the way to go, right? And I know, because I used to think like that. And I used to always think life was happening to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Like, but then I was like, wait, hold up. I think luck is true for some people. And I think it's not for others. I think if you have something great happen to you, and of course, like, I'm not saying you didn't even work hard for it, because there's so many people that work hard for things that they get. And I could even see, that also being a reality where, like, no, I worked hard for this. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at it objectively, not from the subjective point of view, they happen to adapt the correct beliefs that led them on this path. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, whether it's you were really, like, your parents were really hard on you growing up, and so you have this, well, actually, I feel like I take back what I said, because I was just going to say, even when I transmuted all my shit, it's still the same energy. Just I feel better. So actually, I take it all back. I take back everything I literally just said. I feel like, okay, well, más o menos. Okay, I think we have 3 possible timelines. So I think that there's tiers. I think that however you were raised, you can do 3 different things with the set of beliefs you're given. So for example, the hard work thing fucked me up, because I was like, wait, okay, I did used to be super hardworking and still very goal-driven, kind of in the way that I am now, but it's a different place. So, like, before it was coming out of insecurity, and now it's coming out of, like, a more morality thing. But it's the same energy. It's the same intensity. I still feel like this, like Mars at 28 degrees energy, and that doesn't change, like, that's a natal placement. But it's, I think, deciding what tier you fall into. So, I think everything in this world is a trinity, every single thing. I made a whole entire chart for it. I'm like, maybe I'll put it on the screen. But basically, it's like, heart, mind, soul. It's heaven, hell, earth. It's logic, emotion, survival. Like, there's millions of trinities. Millions. But they all represent different timelines, I think. So if you're operating from survival, you're more in your reptilian brain, more brainstem, amygdala vibes. You're just, like I said, feeling, reacting, no conscious thought, no self-reflection, really, no change, just rolling with the punches of life. Once you see something in your reality that challenges, or not even challenges, sorry, whenever something happens in your reality, like, for example, if you lose your job, you're thinking in your head, oh, like, I lost my job, it's time to get a new one, without further introspection. Like, why did I, like, lose this? Or why did I not like this anymore? Why did I quit? Why did I get fired? What could have happened from my perspective versus theirs? What was I feeling? Did I like this job? Why did I quit it? Why was it a bad job? But instead, and I know I used to do this, go for a similar job or the same thing and try it again. And then I kept running in circles. I was like, I hate every job I'm doing, but, like, it was just like, no, or like attracting the same type of people, it's like, why do I keep attracting this person or this type of person? Like, instead of, what I'm saying, going within and making a new pattern for yourself. And so I think if you're operating from, like, just the feeling, reacting, you just have a lower octave of a timeline, but it's not good or bad. It's just a lower octave of what you could be, right? Like, you have your potential and you have what you stayed with. So I think it's obviously deeper for more complex charts, if you know what I mean. So, like, if you have critical degrees, I think that's when shit starts to get dicey, and it's not just like, oh, a higher octave. I think your entire trajectory of your life could be changed, because it's kind of like on the edges of the cusps of the different houses, if that makes sense. This is just a theory. But what I feel like, and I also notice people, I hate to say bipolar, but, like, people who have very intense personalities have, like, split degrees like that. Very critical, very early, like, very late, very early. But what I realized is, okay, if I were to have kept my brain program, okay, the one that I was raised with, the one that I ended up being when I was 18, before I started doing inner work, before I started really going within and questioning what the fuck was going on, because I always blamed everyone for everything that happened. Like, always. Like, if someone yelled at me at work, I'm like, you're so horrible person. Like, I just couldn't imagine being like that. But it was because, like, I thought they were thinking and viewing the world that how I viewed it. I can't talk. I thought that they were viewing the world how I viewed it. So I thought since they're making this action, I would only ever make that action if I hated me. When it has nothing to do with that. Like, everyone has their own shit going on up here. But anyways, so if I hypothetically, like I said, would have kept my same brain, everything, I would be, still just eating disorder vibes. I would still not be able to eat straight. I'd be covered in orange spray tan due to my insecurity. I would be likely working at a similar or the same job I always was. I would be living in the same city. I would have the same life. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think I would have made changes for myself, to be honest, because I was ridden in so much fear that I don't think my brain would have allowed me to make these jumps that I've made in my life now based on the program I was given, which was very much rooted in survival fear. I think my life would have gone extremely differently had I not. I think I'd be lazy. I think I'd be completely intoxicated all day long. I might not even be here. No, I take everything I said back. If I still had the brain I had when I was 18, I would no longer be here. I would not be talking to you. And I would say, like, survival's what pushed me into doing inner work. I never just, like, I didn't wake up one day and I was like, let's learn about the brain. No, bitch. Fucking no. I definitely had to. Like, it was not a choice. It just wasn't a choice. So, wow. I did not expect this conversation to go this way. I'm like really gobsmacked right now. So, what I'm trying to say is, I think luck can be true for some people, and I've watched it happen where they're just at the right place at the right time. They attract the right opportunity, which is still through energy. Even if it's unconscious energy, it's still energy. It's still equal. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't know what you're doing doesn't mean it still can't work. That's why they say, like, you know, it's okay to be delusional, to attract in what you want, because it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? If it's genuine or not, it just is. So people who, for example, are delusional about the things they think they can accomplish, but they end up doing it anyway, but there's no calculation behind it. Like, impulsive, you know what I'm saying? People who just do it, but there was no inner work done. They just fucking shot their shot and good shit happened because, you know, everything about manifestation is just believing you can get it or believing you're worthy enough to get something. But I didn't have those traits. So for me, I had to, well, and I'm also a fucking Capricorn. I would say I like to overthink things. I'm not an impulsive person whatsoever. So for me, I don't think I would or could ever take those big jumps that some people take into, you know, doing things unconsciously because I'm just too fucking scared. I mean, like I said, grew up with so much fear. No shot. So the only way I was ever able to make moves in my life ever was because I did the reprogramming. Because I'm so big on, like, don't go against the grain, just rewire the brain. Like, I don't like doing something I'm not sure about. And that's just me being, I guess, like, the overthinker and the overcalculator and, like, the over, like, perfectionism. Like, I don't want to make a mistake ass bitch. That I just learned everything and then applied the knowledge I learned rather than just straight experiencing it. But I did experience things. It's not like I just have knowledge without experience. But you know what I'm saying? I took time to do my due research and diligence on energy. Basically, I'm like, to sum everything up into one word, energy. And then I was like, okay, the math makes sense. You know, like 1 + 1 does equal 2. Let's run. So it was a safe thing right before I acted. However, I think that is actually more beneficial because you're actually learning what's sustainable and what's not. For example, people who win the fucking lottery, right? Like, they get all this money sometimes and they spend it all because they didn't know how to invest. They didn't know how to keep it. But when you learn something thoroughly and it wasn't impulsive, you can now apply that to every aspect of your life. So for me, having the knowledge prior to acting really, I feel like, is beneficial to me. So I never lose anything out of my control. Like, nothing's really out of my control because I controlled it all. I wasn't acting on impulse. It was strategic. It was very much like releasing, taking time to be down bad, you know? So, like, for example, people who are just naturally confident and can just post online. I was never, ever that person unless it was, like, performative posts. Do you know what I mean? Like, posts where you're just performing, like, you want to look a certain way, so you're going to post so people perceive you in a certain way. But I was never genuinely my authentic self because that's so fucking scary. And it took me a long time of learning about the brain and trying to understand it and detach to be able to build the confidence to even post. Like, I had to understand the brain. How does it work? And it's hard to leave your subjective reality and detach from a logical perspective. I mean, it is hard. It took me years to do, to realize, oh no, I'm not me. I'm not this body. Like, I'm not my thoughts, you know? And what's the logical, moral thing to do at the end of the day, right? And for me, it was like, I have all this knowledge that has helped me in my life. It's changed my life forever. I feel like a new entity, a new being. I want to share, I have to share this because what about my younger self, right? Like, it's more like, what about people who felt like me at one point and didn't think there was a way out? You know, like, it's just immoral and it's fucking wrong to me. So then I would say, yeah, like, my love or my, like, I don't want to say emotions. I feel like that's a vague word, but, like, everything basically topped my ego in that moment because of the pain I endured. Do you know what I'm saying? But it didn't make it any scary nonetheless. That was just the decision. But actually doing it and being perceived, was fucking hard. But like I said, there's some people, like, it was so hard. I didn't sleep, I didn't eat when I first started posting online. But, like, for months, like, I was horribly down bad physically because it was so fucking scary. But, like, you know, there's some people who have natural confidence. I don't want to say natural, but their whatever reality they experienced growing up allowed them to have this confidence factor. And so they were able to naturally do that without this deep introspection. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's why I get really defensive when I'm like, I'm not fucking lucky. I went through hell and fucking back to even be able to take this video. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But I think what's always gotten me to do everything I want to do has always been my empathy. Like, because I care so much about other people, even more than myself. Obviously, roots in childhood, you know, being told you have to care about others more than yourself. And growing up, just my needs were constantly put to the side. And if anything, I was kind of like, not directly told this, but the way that my reality came across in childhood was that I wasn't worthy and I wasn't worth anything and I should only care about, you know, everything around me. So that was just very much like conditioning. But, like, I think, like I said, empathy has always just been very natural to me also because when you grow up in a very chaotic household and you feel like you aren't getting love and support, you have to try to understand the motives of the people around you, to try to understand why they're doing the things they're doing and grow this sort of empathy because, and it's like, I don't want to say it's instinctual, but kind of like it's your survival that makes you tap into high levels of empathy to be able to rationalize what the fuck is going on and happening to you in that moment. And so it's ended up, it is a weakness. Don't get it twisted. This thing is definitely a fucking weakness in so many ways. And my empathy has been my downfall so many times, but it's also been my superpower in so many different ways. So I have been trying to only use it as a superpower now. Only truly give empathy to, I don't even want to say people that deserve it, because it's hard to discern who deserves something or not sometimes. Like, I gave so much empathy to this one person in my life, and I've never in my life been that betrayed by someone. The amount of empathy I poured into this person And I was betrayed on such a mass level. No one has ever done me more dirty. Ever. Truly. Truly. And it was a friend. It was a friend of so many fucking years. And I didn't really know who they were the whole time, apparently. So it's hard to say, and I think my discernment is growing, obviously, with more time and more experience, but I also look back and I don't think there was any way for me to have seen it coming. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't think there was a reality in which it was even possible. That's a lie. That's a fucking lie, actually. Going back to the Neptune retrograde, wow, this video is really fucking coming full circle. Yo, I'm on one. Neptune retrograde, so actually, right before Neptune went direct, I was done. I was done with this person. And I gaslit myself because of my empathy. Because I felt so bad I knew about the toxicity, not from my own experience, but from hearing about it, And I was like, in my head, like, just feeling bad. Because my fucking problem, my biggest fucking problem with everything in life is like, I don't see people with their demons and with their ego. I only see their soul. So when people are being toxic, there's projections. They just go right past me. Like, you could be so mean to me, you could fuck me over majorly, unless circumstantially. I can take a lot of fucking shit because I just view it as on its trauma, on its pain. I want to help them. Like, I'm not taking it personal. So that's a fucking problem because I saw this video last night, actually, that was so fucking beautiful on TikTok, but it was like, you're giving someone too much, like, soul recognition from someone who's only giving you ego, or you're supporting, like, a human when they're not, or you're trying to love someone for being a human when all they're showing is ego, or something like that. Like, all they're showing you is their bad traits, but I don't know. It was basically what I was going through mentally, and I was like, oh my God, yeah. Like, that's the problem, is someone could be so fucked up to me, and I'm like, well, I could, not even that I could help them. That's not even it, because I know not everyone can be helped consciously. Like, people can only be helped if they want to seek help and they want to do, So it wasn't even that. It was more so like, I feel so bad. Everyone's left all these people's lives, because I feel like that happens a lot, which is horrible. But, like, I'll attract people who have no one else in their life but me. But then it causes this sort of codependency also. And I've experienced it so many times where it's like, I don't know. But regardless, my empathy eats me alive. And I allow someone to take my energy who not only isn't ever giving it back, because I feel like I'm always attracting situations where I'm pouring, or the energy is just not reciprocated. I don't want to say it's not poured back, but like I said, different interests, different hobbies, different things. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And I'm staying out of emotion, out of empathy, when it's not logical. And so I'm trying to be more discerning of like, okay, do your connections actually serve you in your life? Are they helping you with what you're going to do? And that is why, like, if a guy DMs me, I used to always just like never reply, like always leave them on red. Like, I felt like if anyone was like seeking my time, not that I was quick to reject them, but it would have to be a circumstance that really drew me in. I felt like to really spend time or connect with someone, like in the past, they would really have to stand out to me. But now what I've been doing, because like I said, I don't want to miss out on any opportunities, and you can't judge someone based off first impression. What I did was I created my MSU Mosquitos flyer. Well, it's not a flyer, but it's a document, basically like an enrollment document, where essentially I just list all my requirements. So like when guys DM me, I don't have to reject them, but I can let them know like, hey, like this is what it would take to enroll in my school. If you're not interested in all of these things, that's totally okay, but we will not be aligned. So it's still like opening the door for opportunity. Hey, if you're on this mission too, let's run it, because I think energy is so much more powerful together. I'm thinking logically. I'm thinking for the greater good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if you have my values, if you're interested in the shit I'm interested in, of course I want you along on my fucking journey. Like, of course I want to put more positivity out into the world. And if you can help funnel that, whether it's intellectually or, you know, whatever way that it is, or your contribution helping me with, you know what I'm saying, anything that I'm doing with my life, and obviously it'd be reciprocal, but that's the thing, it would have to be reciprocal, because I wouldn't want someone just helping me. I'd want it to be mutual. So that's how I give opportunity to people, while at the same time keeping my standards and boundaries, so I don't get wound up in this empathy, spending so much time and energy with people and individuals who are not going towards my highest timeline, because time is finite, motherfuckers. Like, yo, like I don't have time to spend with people who are not fully aligned with my vision and my future, because it's logic. Of course I could have so many individual relationships, right? I used to be very codependent. I would always have a best friend, or like, you know what I'm saying, someone I was spending all my fucking time with. But I realized logically it doesn't make sense. Like, if we think about the greater good, and like, I'm thinking about my life, like my medical, like my purpose, quote unquote, right? And my thing is, like, I want to make the world a better place in whatever way that I can. And I can't do that if I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I want to be able to spread my seeds. You know what I mean? I want to grow many trees. So it doesn't make sense to be closely aligned with people who are not, you know, on that same trajectory. So working on boundaries, working on choosing to connect rather than needing to connect, being more, calculated with, my energy. Like, where am I putting it? And being more observant of those things. So, Jupiter return!